anymore. There we go. All right, here we are. How many attendees do we have? Everybody can hear me. All right.
Yeah, everybody can hear you.
Let's begin. Another couple of seconds. Okay, everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. It's very nice to have everybody with us today. Look, the situation is very serious. And, just today they announced 3,000 people who have passed away, the coronavirus in New York. And I really want to emphasize, we're all in this together. I know there's a lot of arguments and conflict and anger in the diamond industry. And I'll redress that, and I'll talk about the Rapaport price list. But it's not just about prices and business anymore. It's about people, and it's about our relationships. And, this is very trying times for everybody. I'm sitting here thinking about the 90 people that work for me in Israel. What's happening to them? We're all isolation. I got 230 people in isolation around the world, and the people in Israel, and the people in New York, and the people in India. So, I think that in spite of the fact that there seems to be quite a bit of a strong campaign and anger at Rapaport, we're still in this together. Our industry is in this together. And at some stage, we should start transcending the problems or the issues about the industry to the fact that we're all human beings and we're all people, and we need to kind of understand that. Today, I give you a bit of an introduction, but then we're really going to talk about diamond prices and what these prices mean and how it works, and what are prices in general. We'll talk about the Rapaport price list. Then we're going to talk about the way forward, and we'll talk a little bit about the boycotts, and then we'll talk about a conclusion. The screens won't necessarily tell you the whole story, and I'm not going to be here. I know a lot of people are going to come along, and they're going to say, oh, you said this, and you said that. I'm not going to talk here like I'm really afraid to say anything. I'm going to use my usual way of speaking. And I know I may say some things that a lot of people say, rather you didn't say that. I don't mean anything bad by that. But I'm not going to protect and be very afraid to say what I think over here. So forgive me if I'm a little blunt, or if I make mistakes. That can also happen, and correct myself. Now look, the price reductions of the Rapaport list on March 20th upset many in the trade. As a matter of fact, some people say it was the only good thing that happened is I united the trade against Rapaport. So everybody agrees now, and not the whole trade, not the buyers, but let's say a lot of the suppliers. But I didn't have much choice. Unfortunately, a highly volatile global economic crisis in March, just then, set the stage for lower prices with severe declines in early March. And look, I'm looking at the industry. I'm looking at a broad picture, and it's my opinion. So if you happen to be selling a customer and you do something, it's your job, it's your decision what prices you want to set as an individual. But I have to look at things in a much broader context. Following an optimistic January, diamond prices came under increasing pressure as reports of the coronavirus spread in China. And we didn't realize how bad it was or what was going on in China. Really, no one took this thing seriously. I'm sitting now in my home in Jerusalem. I have not left the house in 5 days. I'm really isolating myself so I don't catch the virus or give it to someone. But it wasn't real in January, and certainly not even in February, and for many, not even in March. But reductions in asking prices continued as you look at what was going on, and then escalated rapidly. And when I say rapidly, I mean very rapidly, as Western countries outside China implemented quarantines and travel restrictions. So what happened was that everybody woke up, and they not only woke up to the sense that, okay, there's trouble in the world, they woke up, I got to stay home. And that stopped people from shopping, and that was like a major shock to the entire world. And it really happened a lot in March. Now, I see a lot of people raising their hands. I can't respond to hand raising yet. I will try to get to it later. So I would suggest, you can raise the hand, you can talk to the moderator, etc. But look what happened here. Okay, so everything's kind of floating along. Everything's okay. We're watching prices in February. They're going down. A little bump, okay. But you had a 29% drop here and then 24% in like 2 weeks. Big, big, big move. Big shock. Then look at Signet, okay, 64% in 2 weeks. The largest jewelry store, the largest buyer of diamonds in the world, well, probably they say they are. 71% to 20. Okay, this I can live with. That's, okay, whatever one buyer's at. But this stuff is really serious. And so I look at the world and I say, what's my opinion? What's going on with diamond prices? How are we doing? And I'm thinking, well, 7% after looking at a lot of other data, which I'll show you, more than reasonable. And maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I don't understand it. But the entire industry is freaking out when we look at a massive movement like this in equity markets, which supports wealth effect, which supports everything. So I don't know. Maybe I'm the one person, I think, what's his name says here, this character, nice guy. He's a friend of mine, actually. Still is, I would hope. Winky. I find his name over here. I know him very well. Yeah, Ronnie van der Linden, nice guy. So he comes along and says, and once again, it, meaning me, is if not preaching to the industry, I'm not preaching here, everybody. I'm trying to share information that RG and RG alone, Rapaport and Rapaport alone knows what is best for the interest of the industry. Look, I don't know what's best for the industry. And I'm not the only person that knows. I have opinions, and I'm sure other people do, and you can take them or leave them. But let me make it clear. I'm going to have to do what I have to do, which is my opinion, but you don't have to follow it. You don't have to use it. And I wish you well. This whole issue of other people making trading, it's all good. Let the markets flow. Let everybody say what they like. But I'm not thrilled about being attacked personally, of course, but I guess that comes with having to publish prices. Now, while there is consensus that diamond prices declined in February and March, people know that they went down, there is strong condemnation from suppliers and a lot of people, hundreds, that the timing of our price reduction was wrong. You shouldn't have gone down. Two main reasons. Markets are closed, nothing is happening, which doesn't affect asking prices particularly. And the other thing is, hey, it's wrong to go down now. People are at home. There's a crisis in the industry. So I think a lot of people feel we should make believe that diamond prices are higher than they are. So let's keep the illusion. I'm sorry, I'm not in the illusion business. I have to tell you what I think, especially when prices come down. And I'll explain why. It's no ill will. There's not any anger or nastiness here. And as a matter of fact, I feel bad. I feel very bad for the industry and for what's going on. But unfortunately, I have this terrible job of having to quote, to kind of communicate diamond price levels. And it's a terrible thing to be in, but what can I do? Now, many suppliers demanded that we recall the March 20th price list out of desire to prevent a loss of confidence in the trade and maintain the illusion that prices had not declined. Well, guess what, everybody? Prices declined. Now, people knew they declined, but they didn't want me to say it. Okay, and I can accept that. And I'm not angry at anybody here. I understand, if you have inventory and this Rapaport guy comes along, it's really, it's sad, it's bad. Don't tell us, okay? So unfortunately, we could not do this because prices had in fact declined. Furthermore, and this is another big issue we'll have to explain, discounts had grown to unprecedented levels that threatened the honesty of the Rapaport price list. Because look, guys, no matter what happens after 42 years, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say, hey, prices are the same when they're not. Now, I understand there's costs to that. I don't know. Hundreds of people leave RapNet. You'll see boycotts. Okay, I'm not going to change the fact that I have to honestly represent my opinion about diamond prices. And I'm sorry, but I can't be part of the community that way. And that's why I guess van der Linden says, one man, and one guy knows, he claims. Look, I'm not claiming anything. Unfortunately, I can't agree with everybody, or these days it seems I can't agree with anybody. The conflict between reporting prices and creating negative market sentiment, because you go down, people feel bad or they think bad, creates significant problems for the trade in Rapaport. In times of crisis, whenever we report lower prices, we are highly criticized with demands that we do not publish lower prices. It's that 2008 and 2011 to 2015, whenever it is, we are going to find ourselves in a very unpopular position with a lot of threats and attacks, etc., when we drop prices. It's sad, but I'm not angry at people. I understand that it's sad. It's how they feel, and people really feel strongly and they're emotional about it. But I still have to do my job. The advent of the coronavirus has created such a crisis. There are calls for a total boycott of Rapaport services. I'll kind of show you at the end. Many in the supplies of the trade have taken the position that the Rapaport group must be destroyed. Get rid of us, because an independent opinion reporting lower prices cannot be tolerated. Now, that's really like the key issue over here. Is it good to have a transparent, competitive industry? And there's some people that say, no, it was better without. Some people that say, yes. I mean, that cat's long out of the bag. But I think that the idea of transparent competition is a core problem that people still haven't gotten their head around. Now, the question of whether or not a benchmark price list is good or bad for the diamond trade has been debated for the 42 years that we've been publishing the Rapaport price list. It's not new. It should be clear that our independent benchmark Rapaport prices must reflect the realities of the market when prices fall, even when benchmark reporting has negative impact on market sentiment and negative impact on us and negative impact on everybody. There's now a war against Rapaport for reporting lower prices in time of crisis. Okay, I kind of laid out what I wanted to lay out here in the introduction. But there's a war. I mean, I'd say, get rid of him. You got to chase this guy down. It is important to note that many reasonable suppliers, and this is really important now, many reasonable suppliers recognize the need for the Rapaport price list and RapNet, I might add, but want greater transparency about the process, pricing policy, guidelines, and reasonable understanding of how decisions are made. Now, I believe these requests are reasonable. One guy said to me, Mr. Rapaport, what happens if, God forbid, you die? Okay, what happens if I'm not here? What happens to the price list? How does it work? Well, I am pleased to tell you this is not a one-man band, and I have a team of people, and I pay payroll, and I pay a lot of money to do the research. So it's not just me. But can we establish some ways to change how the price sheet works so that these reasonable requests can be related to? The time has come to make changes in how the Rapaport Group reports diamond prices. There's a big thing here. While we will not in any way reduce our independence, we're not going to say, oh, you guys in the diamond, you said you're going to boycott RapNet, so I'm going to go, and that's not going to happen. Okay, we will retain our independence, but while we won't, we're going to keep independence. We're going to make changes that increase reporting of discounts. You'll see that in a minute. We're going to define guidelines for price changes, and we're going to reschedule the frequency of price lists. And I can explain all this as well, but here's the big news. First of all, we're going to move the Rapaport price list to a monthly. A lot of good reasons for this. One of them is to give the industry time to react to a price list. Another one is, one of the problems that we always have with the prices is we go down and then people go down and then we go down again because people went down and we keep reporting them. We're chasing our tail. So we always have to be careful about that. But leaving a month between price sheets is going to give the industry, at least parts of the industry, an opportunity to breathe. Okay, let's see, we know where we're standing. And it'll also give the industry an opportunity to interact with us and say, you're wrong here, you're right there, go up here, go down there, so we can have more interaction. Now, the other thing we're doing is we're not stopping from publishing weekly prices, but we're going to come up with the RapNet trade sheet. Now, the RapNet trade sheet's been online for a while, and what it does is it shows you the actual discounts. I'll show it to you later. So you're going to see, okay, this is the best price on RapNet for D-Flawless or FVS2, Rapaport specification A3. It'll actually give you the number and it'll give you the discount. So you'll be able to see exactly what's going on a weekly basis, and everybody can see it. And we'll also make it available live online for RapNet members. So you'll be able to see where exactly is the FVS2 today discounts. Now, it's been around for a while, but I don't think people have been using it. But we are going to publish this and send it out to everybody. So everybody can track prices, not my opinion, no Rapaport opinion, but we're going to be able to show you where exactly does RapNet sit today relative to a specific category of diamond. Now, so that's the second thing. Once a month for the price sheet and a new trade sheet from RapNet every week. Now, the other thing, which is a big thing, which we're going to do, because people are upset. How do I know when you're going to go down? What are you doing over here? How are you jumping around? Now, I am going to say that we might publish things if there's an extremely unusual situation like there was on March 20th. But what I want to do is I want to set a range. So if we're looking at Rapaport specification A3 diamonds, you can expect the Rapaport price sheet to go between 30 to 40% discounts. And that's a lot. I think 40% is like 186, percent markup. But that would be a range that you can expect the goods to be in. And if it's not in that range, if it's 20, low 30, we should go up. And if it's higher than 40, we should go down. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to extend the range, at least for a while during the Corona crisis, so that we go to like 45. And I looked at the current, and I'll show you the current price list percentage differences. Other Rapaport specs may have different discount ranges. There's a whole discussion about faint blue right now, and that we should change the basis of the price list to exclude faint blue or include faint blue, etc. So that's the third thing. The third thing is you'll be able to look at those trade sheets and say, oh, here is where I think Rapaport's going to go down with the price, or we buy these goods, or whatever you want to do. But you will see a much higher level of transparency than you've ever seen before, because you'll actually see what's doing, and we'll hold ourselves to certain ranges of prices. Now, finally, I had discussions with some people. We should put together an advisory board. It's just an advisory board, but it'll be very valuable, because anytime we're off the mark with these percentages, bingo, they'll ring our bell, as anyone can. But we'll also discuss things with them, like what do we do about fluorescent, or what do we do about other changes that need to be made? And so it won't just be the Rapaport team, and I'm telling you, we have a team that does these price lists, but we'll have a better interaction with the community. Now, the community right now doesn't like us and all that, but we will find people who are listing stuff on RapNet, and we'll work with them. Now, we're now going to discuss various types of diamond prices and the role of benchmark prices. And, I received about 500 different, hang on a second. Rifkala, my wife, we're at home. Everybody, you call everybody at home, you get people at home. So we'll now discuss various types of diamond prices. You got to understand what's going on with these benchmark prices. I got about 500 emails. Sorry, I couldn't respond to everybody. But these emails, a lot of them said they're not transactions, they're not transaction prices. I'm concerned people don't really understand what this Rapaport price list is. And then we'll provide insight into the Rapaport price list, what it's based on, and why and when we change prices. Also discuss a lot of complaints that people have raised. We'll bring up some of those issues. And finally, we'll announce the important changes, which we just announced to you. Okay. Important changes: 1, once a month prices; 2, new RapNet trade sheet; 3, ranges, so we know in what range the Rapaport prices will fall; and 4, an advisory committee. Now, so what are benchmark prices? How does that stuff work? And why do we have benchmark prices? Well, first of all, understand that normally there's 3 prices. There's an asking price. So I ask 10,000, guy bids 8,000, and then we agree on 9,000. So theoretically, those are prices that we know, although I will point out that they're not really that simple, because they tend to be bundled with other things, like transaction prices or even the asking price. I'm buying $20 million worth of diamonds in Moscow. That's an interesting price, interesting asking price, interesting transactions price. How much below? Who knows? I know, but it's going to be a large discount. And then there's this guy who's buying a diamond on memo with 30 days credit in Rodeo Drive, selling a very wealthy woman at a very high markup. So what about that transaction price? It's also a transaction. So when we look at transaction prices, or some of the normal prices that you would see, you're going to see a large range of prices, even for the same exact thing, depending on the bundling, depending on what else is included in the sale of the product. Credit, memo, return it after Christmas, no problem. Or here's cash right off the bat, not 30 days, not even 10 days. Boom, here's money. So you're going to see a lot of strange things going on. Not strange, but different things going on with transaction prices. You also have to bear in mind the different qualities of the diamond. So when we look at transaction prices, not all of them are Rapaport specification A3. Okay, so there's all kinds of goods moving in all kinds of places. So in any case, we look at this interesting world, and then we look and say, we need to get a benchmark price for the diamond industry that's high enough that everybody fits under this umbrella. Everybody can use the same price list, which is a pretty nifty thing to do, and it's very difficult. So you need a price that's high enough that basically everybody agrees we can sell at some discount or some relationship to that price. So the benchmark price is a high cash asking price, which I'll explain also in a minute. It's a high price. It's a high enough price that everybody agrees they're probably going to sell under it. Now, sometimes things go crazy. You can get many years ago, a 2 carat or a 3 carat GIF went to 20% above the price, speculative surges. That's very unusual. The normal flow of the business is that people trade at some discount to the Rapaport benchmark price. Now, what is this based on? Is it based on transaction prices? Not really. It's based on asking prices. And it's based on asking prices in a certain market. It doesn't mean we ignore transaction prices, but we would have to then filter out the bundling issues, and that's why a high level of expertise is required to do this Rapaport price list. The other thing, it's numérique price. And numérique is an old French term that talks about a standard, which is why people tend to trade at a percentage discount to a numérique price, to a standard price. Now, that's basically the way the Rapaport price list works, but you need to understand it's not based on transactions, okay? It looks at transactions, it looks at everything. It looks at Blue Nile prices. It looks at every kind of information you could possibly give our experts, and computer programs and algorithms, whatever we can learn and understand, that's what we use to come up with our opinion of a high cash asking price. And it is an opinion. Forgive me, it's an opinion. And when you look at the Rapaport price list, every one of them, it right on top in capital letters, it says approximate high cash asking price indications, okay? Very clearly. So you know this is not based on transactions, everybody. It's our opinion. Now, then on the bottom of every price list, it says prices in this report reflect our opinion, I gotta say it's an opinion, of high cash asking prices. The prices are often discounted and may be substantially higher than actual transaction prices. And not maybe, they always are, almost always. Now, if it depends, if you're a consumer, maybe the Rapaport price, this is not higher than your transaction price. So we need to understand what is this Rapaport price list and how does it work and what's it based on. All right. So I said numeric prices that clear all markets. Now, how do we determine these prices? What do we do? First of all, we use expert observation from a lot of sources. I mean, for example, every Wednesday, 2 o'clock, there's a meeting of all the head people of Rapaport here in the world. That would be Las Vegas, New York, I know Las Vegas, New York's in there, Antwerp's in there, Ramat Gan's in there, Mumbai's in there, Surat's in there, Hong Kong's in there. And they all talk about what is going on in the market with a lot of interesting, sometimes, information that they really see things and they understand and they know what's going on. And they talk to people during the week as well. And we get those reports. We look at RapNet, of course. Yeah, we don't just look at RapNet, we look at other places where we might be able to see various information about prices. And then we communicate with traders. We talk, we interact. And I can assure you when we get things wrong, we hear from a lot of people. And then there's a whole world of internet data out there that a lot of people can see and look at, but some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it's correct, some of it's wrong. It's that ability to understand what you're looking at and then come to some kind of a Rapaport opinion of what is a high enough cash asking price that is essentially what we do. So it isn't, it'd be great if we could just formulate it. And in fact, now I am saying, because a lot of prices that are listed in the Rapaport price list and RapNet, and there's a direct relationship, then you can say 30 to 40 and you can do that. But there are a lot of things that don't have a Rapaport price. And therefore, there's a lot of other things going on that requires a high degree of expertise. Now, debundling information, so a guy in Russia did that, and a woman and someone in New York sold that in 30 days, and someone did something else. And so you're looking at all these different pieces of information. And you need to apply premiums and discounts to some of this raw data. You need to look at liquidity. How many stones are available? Did they go down? Did they go up? What's happening with all that? And you need to do analysis of the discounts. And the discounts analysis we'll talk a little bit about today. I mean, I can't take you into the depth of how all these concepts work in terms of having an expert opinions about various things. But I can say to you that, and you'll see that we look at discounts very strongly. Now, besides this issue of understanding the information you see, the diamonds talk to us. So there's a whole question about structure. Now, some people went and they tried to do these price lists, and they somehow the FVS1 was worth more than the FVS2, and the whole way in which things fit together didn't make any sense. And so we have a structure of relationships. Now, those structured relationships change. So, for example, if China is very strong in the market, the relationship between 30s and 50s or something changes. Or if there's other markets that are very hot and getting very excited, and VBSs may go up, well, it hasn't happened in many years, but for example, maybe JSI2s, and so there's different pieces and fit in, like we used to fall off a cliff going from H to I. Not so much anymore. So there's what we would call differential analysis. I didn't have a chance to make that slide for you guys yet, but imagine you're dealing with something like an FVS1. Now, the FVS1 price is going to be bound. It's going to be living within a certain frame of an FVS2. It's always going to be higher than an FVS2. It's going to be less than an FVS2, it's going to be less than an EVS1, and more than a GVS1. So that price is going to be bound by other prices that are living in its neighborhood, okay? And also if it's a 1 carat versus a 150 or versus a 90. So when we see diamond prices, we see them in a certain structure, in a certain spatial zone of where they fit in that makes sense. And again, you got this data coming as well, and everything's changing all the time, okay? Sometimes the structure is changing. So we look at that, and sometimes we'll do estimations. Let's assume you don't have a price for a 4 carat or, I don't know, GSI1. So we would then say, okay, well, what's the percentage? What's in the neighborhood? And we would then sometimes look and say, well, what's the percentage between a 3 carat and a 4 carat? And what's the percentage between a round and a fancy? And what's the percentage between these different things? And then we would do that kind of analysis to think about what's in the neighborhood percentage-wise. Now, we know that this is why it's an opinion, but the structure works pretty well, although not all that great. And I think one of the best things is that everybody trades at discounts. So even if we're wrong, you can still use the sheet because you're going to just apply a different discount. Now, sometimes discounts are going to relate to the specifics of a diamond. It's got a PK in the middle, it's a bad SI. It's got, all kinds, and I'm talking about GIA graded Rapaport specification A3s, so you're not going to have an awful make. But even within that context, there's all kinds of differential things about certain stones, okay? So when we look at a stone, it's not just the price won't just be set in any Rapaport sheet. There's a lot of factors that'll go in, like the terms of the transaction. Am I getting credit? Am I not? And you're selling it to your son-in-law, you're selling it to some person. All kinds of things go into setting prices. So transaction prices can use the sheet, but they're going to use the sheet the way they want to at their discount levels, which is what I like, which is great. So we have a structure here, but everybody gets to do what they want to set their own prices. And I think that's why the Rapaport Prices has done so well in these 42 years. Now, when and why to change price indications? What's going on here? Why do we change? And by the way, I have to give respect. There's a lot of very smart and intelligent people and friends of mine, people who care about the industry, and even people who care about me, and they say, Rapaport, what are you doing? Just give one price sheet a year, and that's it. Don't kill yourself. And everybody will adjust discounts. But I think we need to recognize, and I'll bring this up later, we need to recognize that there are buyers out there that rely on the price sheet. They don't deal with the discounts every day. And they need something very straight and simple that they can take out when someone walks into their store or whatever, or they're walking into a store and say, okay, now I understand how much below, how do I deal with this? So we've created a tremendous amount of transparency there, and it would not, in no way that we would be able to just say, okay, we're just working with suppliers, one price sheet a year, no discount. That we need to have a price sheet that works with buyers as well. And I need to emphasize, I know that everyone's upset at me and all this stuff, but buyers, buyers are the most important thing in the world, especially today. So we need to think about what are we doing in terms of communicating or price information that's going to be relevant to buyers. And, I'll talk about it now. Look, so we're sitting here and everyone's really upset. Why did you go down to the 20th? It's terrible. I'm really jumping ahead now. What am I? I'm not crazy, okay? I know it's terrible. I mean, I showed you the market's dropping and everything else. But let's say you're dealing with Chinese buyers. And we drop the price on May 20th like we have to, or we don't. Oh, they convinced me, they threatened me, they blackmailed me, they boycotted me, right? So I'm going to say, okay, big deal, we'll just keep the old prices. Now let's think about what happens now. When would I change the prices? And I'll show you why I have to change it because the discounts are crazy. Would I wait until the Chinese get out of bed literally and start buying goods and then, oh, you gotta have your money now, wham, now I'm gonna lower prices? No, 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 not smart, okay? Matter of fact, that would be evil. The best time to go down with prices is when they go down. So you don't get this noise or this terrible thing where people are just trying to pick up a market and then you go down. So the delays gaps is a big issue, and that's one of the reasons I'm happy to do the price list once a month. But in any case, the issue of when do we change? So there's two things happening, and some of these are conflicting with each other. One is the trend. Are prices in fact changing? Is the discount changing? Did the prices go down? Okay, that's an issue. And another thing is, you know, you don't want to do things that cause other people to do things, and then you're chasing your tail. You know, so you have to be careful about it. In the old days, I remember once we used to go down 3%, another time 3%, another time 3%, and then people said, "What are you doing?" You know, everybody's waiting for the price list because it's going to go down another 3%. So then I said, well, you know, it's not such a good idea. We'll go down once 7% or 5%, and then we'll stop and we'll wait. And that worked a lot better. And so we're very careful about the impact of what we do and how it affects what we're going to do next. And that's why I'm happy with this new monthly thing as well. But we've always been watching very carefully for this. Now, in any case, trends are important, but they're not the only thing that's happening. One of the things that's happening is discounts. And as you'll see, discounts also played a very big role in our dropping of prices on the 20th of March. And there's questions. How high is too high? When can Rapaport put out a price list and then the buyers say, you must be nuts? Like, let's say we did one price sheet a year and the discount was 90%. Anybody and everybody would say, it's not. Okay. So how high can those discounts be? And that we're going to be able to maintain credibility, or honesty is the more important thing. I wake up in the morning and say, I'm not lying to everybody. Now, I got a problem with that. I have a real problem with the discounts, and we had a huge problem on the 20th, which I'll show you. As markets are crashing, we're way up there. We're so high that there's no air in the oxygen. There's no oxygen up there. So we have to maintain credibility and fairness, and we have to think about the buyers as well, so there's a price sheet that they can use. Back to those Chinese guys, you know, I was telling you about, you know, okay, we're not going to go down, we'll keep it up. Now, the Chinese guys are very smart. And a lot of them are going to say, as they have in the past, we're not buying until the Rapaport price list comes down because we know it's going to come down. We want something to rest our head against. Now, that's true. It happens. And that's another good reason. And I know everybody hates me for this and disagrees with me. And I can accept that. But that's my opinion. And that's another very good reason to go down on the 20th and not wait, because then the buyers are waiting and we're waiting and they're waiting. And then we go down instead of going up. It's a disaster. The other thing that I would point out to you about this issue of the 20th, well, I'll tell you about that later. So let me just keep going over here. Trends, watch the trend, and watch the discount to maintain honesty and credibility. Now, why did we change the Rapaport perspective, asking for high discounts? I've been telling you that right now all along. And then we have our perspective, we have our opinion, and our opinion may be different than the opinion of people sitting on inventory who say the role of Rapaport should be to protect the market so no one feels bad and everyone can think that everything's okay because we're at home and we have this coronavirus environment. So why don't you just tell us that everything's fine? You know, I can't do that. It's not my job. Right? I'm sorry about it. I really feel terrible. So many people are upset, and you know, and like, wow. And you know, it's I really feel bad, but it's my job, and it's our job, and it's our responsibility to tell it like we see it. All right, like take a look here. Okay, so I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at RapNet price changes, and this is from the beginning. This is a while ago, and I'm looking at 17%. And we take a very long-term look of what's going on, and when we change a price, we don't just look at what happened that week. We look to see what happened since the last time we changed the price. Because a lot of the things that we've been doing, and you know, I've got to ask someone out there to tell me, yeah, we don't change his prices that much, but I guess Shimon's listening to this and Joshua's listening to this. Please get me for the next talk exactly how many price changes we made in 2019. I don't think it was that many. So what we do is we wait, we see that the trend is established, we then change the price, but carefully, and we're very careful about changing prices. But in any case, we don't keep up. We don't drop them as fast as you might think. So this is the long view, and this is a shorter view just from 1227. And what we noticed on RapNet, but we also noticed that the asking price was below also what the price that you're seeing here. And I do want to explain something else to you about these prices. I'm going to explain this to you. Look, this is my view of the world on the 14th of March, by the way. So we're watching the world, and this is just the RapNet world, we're watching other things, 1 carat prices, and we'll be using 1 carat prices today as the proxy, but there's actually, we're looking at a lot more than 1 carat prices. Round 1 carat is just a small piece of our work. In any case, I'm sitting there, and we have this idea of the best price. The best price means it meets the Rapaport specifications, it has a GI grading report, and it is the cheapest or the lowest price you're going to find on RapNet. Okay, so that's an interesting animal. Then we said, maybe that one stone, maybe it's weird, maybe it's not so good. So then we said, okay, and this is the real number we use all the time, everybody. Let's look at the 10% of the stones. Let's say you got 200 GVS ones, right? Let's look at 20 of them, the cheapest 20, and then let's do the average of those cheapest 20 stones, or whatever the 10% is. Sometimes there's no 10%. Maybe a 5 carat RVS one, there's only 1 stone even. But in any case, and that's where the interpretation and the expertise and understanding comes in. But in any case, for a lot of goods, you've got a reasonable amount of goods on this 10% average. Okay, now, if we follow this 10% average, we see we're sitting at 47, 45, 45 below. And that's before we see the market crashing, or as we see the market crashing. And we see that no matter what you say in RapNet, if someone's going to bid on you, you're going to sell. So we're looking in a pretty uncomfortable position right now at 47 below. And I'll show you why in a minute. So when you look at those price movements, and you say, what the hell's going on here? And just how low are the prices? Now, again, markets are crashing. We're at 47 below. And by crashing, I have 20% changes, 30% changes. And now 7%, the diamond industry is boycotting and going crazy. There must be something wrong with me, obviously. Because in my normal world, I would say, yeah, that's reasonable. That's what a person would expect. But again, a lot of emotions, and I'm not against anybody, and it's sad, but that I have to report what's going on here. All right. Now, let's take a look at the discounts across the board in 1 caraters. Now, this is what I'm looking at, and as I see the market just from the RapNet perspective on the 19th. This is what I see: 50 below, 48 below, 44 below. And I'm saying, should I go down? Should I not go down? Obviously, I'm going to go down. And the stock market went down. And Signet, the largest jewel and the biggest buyer of diamonds, went down. And so I'm looking at the world around me and saying, hey, Betty, you better watch out with these discounts. They're way too high. And, what happens even afterwards, they're high. But here, you know what? Rapaport's crazy. All right. Blue Nile. Blue Nile, which sells to consumers, is 37 below or 32 below. This is already a consumer price. You don't like the Rapaport price list? No problem. Make a Blue Nile price list. Okay? We're higher than Blue Nile. The markets are crashing. And we're getting yelled at and screamed at for going down 7%. So I can take the, Bill Goldberg, once he threw me out of the New York Diamond Dealers Club because we were publishing prices. He's a very nice man, and we got along together later, and I liked him a lot. He liked me a lot. Still threw me out. But he once said to me, Rapaport, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. And he's right. So I am not complaining. I'm saying, okay, this is my miserable job, but I have my perspective. Now the whole world says, no, diamond didn't go down. Go back with the price to the 6th. Don't tell the world prices went down. I'm sorry. I can't do that. I really am sorry. But the fact is that I've got to tell it like I see it. And, I don't think I'm that wrong over here. Look at the discounts from Blue Nile to the Rapaport price. It's amazing. This is a big one. This is big over here. Look. These spreads over here, this stuff, this is the Rapaport price list in the blue, and this is the RapNet in the orange. And I got to tell you, friends, we're holding this up over here. We're way high. And this spread over here is eating away at what we're trying to accomplish with buyers. And it doesn't sit well, not at all. So one of the big issues that we have are these discounts, and look at them. Look at what happened. Okay, I'm showing you the spread between the Rapaport price sheet and RapNet, 1 carat or whatever, from January 2011. Okay, and we had bumps. You know, one day I should go back to 2008 over here, Oren. But we had bumps, and we had bounce backs, we had bumps, we had bouncing back. But how the hell we get to 83%? There's a peak over here, and look at the curve. How it's here. See, it's like a curve thing. Can't do that, my friends. Okay, and even after we went down, we came to 78. So I'm sitting here going, oh my gosh, what's with this? How are you going to deal with this? Are you just going to ignore it? I can't ignore this stuff. So we had to bring things back into relationships that made some sense over here, and we only went 7%. Okay, now I'll explain to you later as I'll show you some other stuff. So I'm very sad, and I feel bad for everybody, and I'm losing sleep because of coronavirus and everything. But I don't feel that we're lying about diamond prices by going down 7%. Okay, and I can't go back and say, oh, we're going to return it because we're being threatened or something. Can't do that. Okay, so we got to stay where we are in the real game. All right. Now I want to take a look at some of these issues that were brought in front of us here. Very responsible people, by the way. Very intelligent people. So I'm not the one who knows everything, and say, I keep looking over here at this guy, Van der Linden, preaching. I'm not preaching. I'm telling you what I think. You can take it or leave it. But, I alone know what's good. No, I invite anybody else who wants to jump into the hot seat with me. You do a price sheet also. I'm thinking about, the World Federation of Diamond Bourses wants to do a trading platform. I'm delighted. Great. Someone else to take some of the heat. Okay? They'll show prices going down as well, if they're honest. I assume they will be. And fine, they say it's not Rapaport, it's the market. And that would be great. So I'm not at all opposed to the idea of the World Federation or anybody, other people making price lists. I believe in competition, and I believe it's great. I said to Savile, who runs RapNet, I said, look, they're going to make other price sheets. Are you better or not? If you're not better than, not the price sheet, Savile's not price sheet, he's RapNet. I said, if the other people do RapNet better, they have a better training, then you should lose. We have to add value, and we have to compete in a market. So I'm not at all pushed away. I think the battle is about transparent pricing. Anybody that comes along and promotes transparent pricing in the diamond industry is a friend of ours. And I don't mind that they're competing. It's good. They're helping to pave a path through the jungle over here. So I'm with it. Now, so first of all, why not publish one price a year? Because it's going to totally not meet the needs of the buyers. The buyers are going to look at this thing and they're going to go, what is that? And they don't work on discounts the way the trade does. Now, it's normal for people in the trade to see things from the trade's perspective, and that's fine. I need to see things from the buyer's perspective equally as I would see them from the trade's perspective. And that does not win me any popularity points, I can tell you, with the trade. And sometimes it doesn't bring me any popularity points with the buyers either. So, I'm not in a great position here, but in fact, I have to consider that. So I don't believe a once a year price sheet would do it. I'm going to once a month because I'm listening and I'm understanding, and I want to be, what's that word, sensitive to, or I forgot the word. I'm supposed to know that word. My guys, my marketing, empathy. I have to have empathy for everybody, and that's just a word, but I really mean it in my heart. I really want to consider what everyone's saying and try to move in that direction. But also, even as we do the price sheet once a month, we're going to have those discount prices going out there so people get information. So I'm not like turning off the information spigot, but I'm giving you information that's not based on any opinions of mine. Okay. Why didn't you wait to drop the price list? I explained that as well. A number of reasons, and I'll give you, first of all, not to have to go down later when the market's trying to recover. That's obviously not. Second of all, because the buyers would be waiting for the price list to come down to reflect reality before they would buy, and then I'd be having to figure out, what are we going to do now? The best time to go down with prices is when they go down. And the third thing, which is something I didn't understand really why people are so upset, the market's closed, right? All right, the market's closed. So what do you care if the prices go down? This is the best time to go down with diamond prices is when no one is trading. It doesn't affect them right now. Oh, but the psychological thing is a problem. I cannot, the tone, how people are feeling, I agree with you. And it's terrible, and I'm sad about it, and I'm sorry about it. And I wish there was another way to do that. But when it comes to the reality of the market, our job is to let people know what we think, opinion, prices, and to put it out there. And we can't say we're going to play psychologists. But the fact of the matter is, in my view, and I know that maybe out of 1,000 people, 999 are going to disagree with me. I know that. And, what can I tell you? The best time to go down with prices is when the market's closed, because it doesn't affect anybody's trading. They can digest it, and then they can wait for it to go up and sell into an upward moving market, hopefully. But God knows how long coronavirus is going to be. God knows how big inventories. There are big inventories, and we have no idea what's going to happen. Okay. So that was a bad idea, lowering prices. People told me, don't do it. And buyers need to know when prices are low. And remember, we're not dealing with transaction prices. We're dealing with asking prices. Today, there's still people putting buy requests on RapNet. There's still people offering goods. I have talked to some people who are still selling goods because we're all moving to this digital world. Now, I know people can't get to the office and ship goods, and we'll talk about that. But in fact, some people are actually still doing business. So China is going to come back, guys. I hope there'll be no second thing like there is in Hong Kong right now. I've been talking to Hong Kong. We have a team in Hong Kong, a staff. But I'm hoping that China will, in fact, come back in a matter of weeks and not months. And they have to be able to trade. So we have to have prices out there. We're not going to freeze. And I have a whole discussion that I gave the last time I gave a talk about freezing, like a deer in the road, in the car, in the headlights, and the deer freezes, and bam, deer meat. But if the deer moves, then there's hope. And it's very important that as soon as possible and as good as we can, we don't hide under our beds and we don't do that. I know you can't do much today, it's okay, but it's going to get better. And then we have to think about being digital freaks. We have to think about how are we going to be digitally trading? Because the world's gone digital big time. Not just you're working from home, not just everybody became Zoomies, not just your kids are getting educated, not just your entertainment's at home, but everything's electronic. The digital thing, when this is over, soon, we're not going back to the normal world. There'll still be needs to see jewelry, and there'll still be people desirous to do that stuff, but we're not going back to the normal world. So we need to get into digital ASAP, and that's a great thing to do while you're stuck at home, is to experiment, look at things, see what's on the web, get into as many digital concepts as you can, and think about how you can do business digitally, how you can do inbound marketing. There's a lot of stuff you could learn and do that's going to be very relevant when this is over. Anyways, why didn't you wait to drop? It would have been a disaster to wait. I think waiting to drop the price list until the markets came back and tried to reestablish themselves when China comes back in, no, not good. And I explained also that everyone's going to be waiting for the prices to come down, a lot of them to buy. So I wanted to get rid of that. Now, why did drop the list? There's no transactions. My friends, we're dealing with asking prices. Okay, they may not be as good and this and that, but we knew what was going on March 20th, absolutely clear. And I don't think anybody questions that prices went down. Nobody. And maybe someone is out there, I mentioned the people, but most rational people don't question it. So there's no transactions price. Okay, so what? Are asking prices cheaper? Is that price that I'm giving you, this numeric price, this higher level price, this market clearing price, it doesn't exist? Of course it exists. So we're not placing every day, this guy made a transaction and sold it in 90 days, that guy made a transaction and sold it a memo, the third people may say, no. Now you might say the trade doesn't need transaction prices, or the trade doesn't need a Rapaport price. That could be, so don't use it. But my view on this is that it's not the right, it's irrelevant to us to a certain degree in terms of what we're doing, that we're going to say there's no transaction prices. Do we have asking prices? Do people want to sell? Yeah. Are people disclosing transactions prices normally? Not really. They don't want to. I mean, there's a lot of baloney out there, but my job now isn't to talk about baloney or other people. But the bottom line is there are asking prices that we can track really well, and we know what we're doing with them. Now, shouldn't there be no list when we're in crisis? That's an interesting point here. You say, listen, go to sleep. And the truth of the matter was, people were so upset, and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do with this price list? That I said, okay, let me try to have empathy, let me listen to people. And we didn't do it in 43 years. I said, don't be a stubborn idiot. Listen to people, bend to them. Don't publish, and which I'm happy to do, because it's all right. The world's not going to end if we don't publish for a month. So I said, fine. And I talked about it with our team, and I was in it less time, they do more time, so we got May 1. Now, what's the deal with this no listed crisis? And this drove me to a very interesting point. The history of diamonds is that diamonds are a store of value in difficult times. So if you have a real tough time, you take the diamonds, you can sell it, you can get rid of it, someone will buy it. Now, I agree now it's kind of weird because everyone's at home and no one can go and no one can see, and so you can't really talk about it. But I'm not talking about, so sad New York City is horrible now. It's terrible, the coronavirus. I'm not talking about New York only. In Hong Kong, they're moving around. I was talking to somebody who was in the office. So where are we when markets get tough, prices go down, things are difficult? Does the industry have liquidity? Does the industry back up the product? Are diamonds a store of value in troubled times? Now, historically, they were. People always believed, buyers believe they are. And so I'm not going to support the idea that the industry should climb under their bed and hide when we're in crisis. In fact, it's the best opportunity to buy. And aside from the coronavirus situation, which is impossible to do business for many people, certainly India's closed 21 days this day, can't ship goods. I'm still saying to you, the idea of a crisis is when the diamond industry should show its real colors and support and buy cheap. I don't care what the price is, okay? But it's like no hiding allowed. So I told you about these new policies. Again, I'll review them monthly. Trade sheet's going to go out, and the trade sheet's going to be using this 10% price. I think right now we're still using overall averages, so it might be a little weird this week, but as soon as we can get our IT team to do it right, we will put out the 10%, the best 10%. Now, discount ranges, told you about that. Now, there's a discussion I'm having with some people about A3 or A2, but if it's A2, then the range is going to be 30 to 45. It'll be, if you say to me that a none is worth 10% more than a faint blue, then we have to look at this and figure out, what should the discount range be for them. And an advisory board, which I'm going to be soliciting from RapNet people who are listening on RapNet and stuff, because I think that we should share the ideas, share the input, and I'm very open to having kind of an advisory board thing. It makes sense to me as well. And some people recommended it. And now, again, they're not going to be able to say, okay, we're the board, we decided price goes up and down. That's not going to happen. And I imagine if we ever go down with the prices, some of the advisory board will run for the hills. But in fact, we are open to it. In general, I'm open. You don't have to be in an advisory board to communicate with us. We've got our team out there, and if anyone wants to, provide us with information or wants to be consulted on a regular basis, pretty much, we have people in the company that's all they do, but that's a lot of what they do. So send an email to prices@diamonds and say, I would like to, be able to communicate. Now, if you're a nudnik and you make us crazy, we're not going to talk to you all the time. But if you're a player and you know what's going on, mostly if you're a player that actually trades goods, buys in the market, then you're a very valuable resource for us. Now, this trade sheet's a very interesting animal. The trade sheet, now what you're looking at here is actually, I can show you this one a little bit. It's not correct. This is did they give you the test 10%? I don't know if they gave this. These prices may be wrong here right now. They actually are. This is just because of the format. We haven't been able to put in. What you're looking at right now is the best price and the average price. But the trade sheet is going to look like this, but this number over here isn't going to be the general average for defaults. It's going to be the average of the best 10 price stones. So just be aware that's coming out. Now, let me take a breath over here. We will answer some questions soon. I'll wrap up and then I'll go into questions. So where are we going from here? What's the game? And as an industry, not just, how's Rapaport going here? Where are we all going from here? What's next? So first of all, we got to get market liquidity back up. And I'm afraid that in some instances, there's no shipments. People yell, the auction, the auction. We don't base the Rapaport prices very much on our auctions because most of our auctions are like inexpensive melee and tens or hundreds of thousands of carats. And the stuff that we're shipping to Israel is repairs mostly, okay? It's stuff that, comes out of the US market and people want to fix them and they buy them at all kinds of prices, generally pretty low because you have motivated sellers. And we have a community of people in Israel who live off these goods, the 2,000, 4,000, whatever, that come into Israel. So shipping. So what happened? So we have an auction, and the auction isn't scheduled to end the day before the price list, like some people falsely claim. It's going to be afterwards, so it's going to be Wednesday or something. And Tuesday, we usually end them on Wednesdays. So in any case, or Thursday, I don't know, we couldn't ship the goods. It was crazy. We couldn't get them out of New York. And our New York office is now closed, by the way. And then we couldn't get them back. Then we couldn't get them in. So we're in a world right now where shipping is becoming a major disaster. And what we want to do is we want to prepare for as soon as we can to get shipping, RapNet, Rapaport, come up with shipping solutions. We're also working on payment services so that people can trade without seeing each other, maybe even seeing the stone. So that we're going to create a depository center. We're trying to do everything we can to get liquidity back into the market. So let's say you got stones. I talked to some people. They got stones in, I don't know, Botswana. They got stones in who knows where, all kinds of places. And I said, listen, you're stuck. The world's stuck. You can send it to Rapaport, and we'll help you trade it. We'll ship it for you. And that really depends when New York can open up shipping or when other places can. Hong Kong is already alive. I don't know how long we'll stay alive because there's new rules, but we have Hong Kong people there. Bottom line, and Hong Kong can service China. So the idea is to be able to help people to sell goods. That's the name of the game. And we have a trade center. And we're running buy requests now, and we'll chase down buy requests. I've instructed our trading team, who normally works with auctions, because we can't do auctions so much, because we can't show the goods. We can't, do that. Our New York office is closed. So I said, let's start looking at buy requests and helping people source goods. Even if the goods are like not in the safe and you're in the safe and you're can't go to the office, we want to start to help people to find what they need. And there is demand right now. Not a lot, but whatever it is, chase it down. The argument that I told you before, diamonds are a store of value in difficult times. So we're going digital, not just Rapaport, the industry. And that's an opportunity for us to sell more goods globally without the problems of I have to see the goods. Will Chinese, for example, buy goods based on GA grading? They used to a lot, 30s for sure. So that's going to open up the idea that you can trade based on grading reports. And that means that diamonds are a store of value in difficult times. Just get it to the GA, get a grading report, boom, you get a price. And there are people that we're talking to that are ready to do that. The other thing you should understand is that after this thing, for two reasons. One is the demographics, a lot of older people, but also gold went up and people are going to come out of this. And the United States is very good. They gave us 2.5 months of salary, but Israel didn't. Okay, I mean, Israel's a special case, but Europe, I don't think does. So people are going to want to sell stuff to make ends meet. And that's going to be a test for the industry to see, can they, millions of consumers interested in selling diamonds, not buying them. And I keep talking about this, or is this guy, I'm lecturing my own view, So yeah, I do have a view, shoot me. But I think that, in fact, there's going to be a lot of goods that people are going to be selling. And we need to be geared up for that. And if we do buy goods from people, we don't hide under our beds and say, it's a crisis, we're not buying. If we're going to give confidence to the market, it'll make a big difference as to the reputation of diamonds. And you also want to be thinking about, a lot of people go, diamonds are a luxury, diamonds are a luxury, diamonds are a luxury. Okay, they can be a luxury. I'm not against luxury. But are diamonds a store of value? And if they're not a store of value, they're just a bunch of sparkly stuff, then go ahead, sell cubic zirconia, sell synthetics, sell any kind of thing you want to sell. Because that's not, the diamond is special because it has value. And as soon as we walk away from that, or run away from that, or hide from that, we're actually destroying the branch we're sitting on. Okay, so I'm a very strong believer in that diamonds are valuable, and they should be traded, and they should be bought, and they should be sold for some value. Now, the price, I don't care. What was the liquidity? Okay, that's what's important. Now, RapNet is coming forward. I know, don't go on RapNet. I can't believe people call other people and say, get you off RapNet. So I guess that's a bit of the, I don't know. I actually don't know. I think people are very upset, they're emotional, and I'll show you later some guys, they just want to kill us altogether. But RapNet is moving forward now with an ability to run your business from your home. And they've introduced the CRM, which just launched yesterday. Yes, in the middle of the coronavirus, our guys are working from home and we are launching new software. And manage your inventory much better, and sharing anything on RapNet via email. So you'll be able to, go on RapNet. Let's say you see a stone from someone else, another guy, Blue Star, still with us. See, these kind of guys. And they go, okay, here it is. Ship it to somebody else. you can actually exchange that kind of flow of goods from a third party, and you can do business that way. Also, emails, and then we're going to be working, I hope, by Passover. We're thinking about it. Also, social media. So you'll be able to go onto there and move stuff. And then the big thing is going to be buy requests. I think that we're going to focus a lot on buy requests because a lot of goods are not available. They can't get to the goods. We have lots of inventory sitting in RapNet that are just on hold because people don't want to put them up because they can't sell them. And there's a lot of boycott pressure also. But it's an interesting world, and RapNet is moving forward in an aggressive way to address issues that can help people sell in these difficult times. And we don't know how long the times are going to be. We need transparent competition. I mean, I keep talking about transparent competition, and now even the guys who are yelling at us, "Oh, we want transparency," which I like. It's good. Okay, everybody should be able to should be free to trade any way they like, however they like, whatever price they like. You know, oh, do we have to use this price? Use any price list you like. You want to price your diamonds, you price them any way you feel like. No one is telling you you have to use a Rapaport price list of this date or that date or any Rapaport price list. It's up to you, and it's up to your stone, and it's up to you the type of deal. Remember the bundling string? So we're not here to tell people how to sell or what price to put. Buyers are likely to look at the new Rapaport prices. If you're upset about a buyer looking at something, I can't help you. I'm not going to lie to them. The prices didn't change. I'm not going to do that. But you set prices, go right away. Do whatever you want. And I think the World Federation of Diamond Bush's idea of a trading network is great. Go do it. List your goods there. I don't like the fact that people terrorize, people on RapNet and say, hey, if you put it in, I'll show you. I'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, World Federation should make it right. Yeah, I love it because then people will look at prices there and they'll say, oh yeah, they did go down. Or that. Why should I have to carry the whole world on my shoulders? But it's not. By the way, there are other trading networks. There's IDEX and there's this one and there's that one and Polygon and that's fine. I'm into competition. I believe in transparent competition. It applies to Rapaport like anybody else. And it's a sad, we're simply going to have a better trading network if we're going to keep customers. And by the way, with all due respect to all the emotional, boycotters, if we have a better trading network and we can provide liquidity in the market, we are, in fact, the lifeline. And that happened in 2008. We're the lifeline for a lot of companies to be able to get new customers when times are tough. And so we'll see what happens. So all these things are fine. Boycotts are not fine. So it's time for the World Federation of Diamond Bourses and the International Diamond Manufacturers Association, Mr. Ronnie van der Linden personally and particularly, to speak out against boycott campaigns by their members. It's not nice. You don't want to boycott Rapaport. Tomorrow you may get boycotted by someone else. Not me. I'm not calling any boycott. Okay? But it's not the right way to work. And it's good that everybody's united against Rapaport today, which is nice. But the truth of the matter is boycotts are not going to open markets, get us to liquidity, and move us forward. And I'll show you something that's kind of scary. Here's something on Telegram, okay? And this is something that this whole group started, and a lot of people there, 500 people there, they're lowering, taking goods off RapNet like crazy. But look what they're saying. Remove all your inventory from RapNet. All right. Cancel your subscriptions. Remove all ads. No more participating in auctions and conferences. You think I'm the only guy. I got 230 people working with me. No more sending us to jail by using Rapaport services. Any services given by Rapaport Group is banned. It's not very nice. But look at this one. This is the killer. To make sure no one will take advantage of the situation, we are obliged that we will not do any business whatsoever with companies that do any business, that use any of his services. So what are we saying here? We're saying that people are calling up people who are listing goods in RapNet. They're going into RapNet as members, seeing who's listing, and then they're calling up the guy and saying, we won't give you credit, we're going to blacklist you, etc. Unheard of, crazy, across the red line. What should I do about it? Well, I give charity and I pray. And I hope that people will be rational and they will, in fact, not subscribe to these terrible pressure tactics. But right now, people are angry. They're angry that we went down 7%. I'm sorry, I really am. I'm sorry about your anger, but hey, wake up, get real. You can't. I guess you want to have your dreams, But the bottom line is diamond prices is going down, and if you want to deal with reality, you need to deal with reality. If you want the market to continue, This is why I gave that discussion in a previous email I sent. Everybody hates me for it, but if you can't trade in a downward moving market, and downward moving markets are existing in the world, then you're going to have a lot of problems. So I encourage, as a banker once said to me, he said, listen, as long as my client is breathing, trading, I'm not going to bury them. And I would give that advice. Oh, I'm giving advice. I better be careful because Mr. Ronnie van der Linden says that he's not preaching to the industry. I shouldn't preach, but I'm not preaching. I'm sharing my opinion. Okay? Keep trading, everybody. Don't freeze up. All right. Next case. So what do we think we can do? So first of all, I am pleading with you as an individual, as a nice guy, as someone who's been around for 42 years. I'm getting schmeiced, and yeah, look at these guys. Yeah, don't do business with anyone. Do business with the guy, right? Buy from RapNet suppliers. I'm very proud of the RapNet suppliers who have withstood the boycott efforts by all of these wonderful people. Okay, and I feel bad for them. The truth is, all these boycotters, they're in pain, and I feel for them. I understand that they're in pain. It's a tough, tough time for everybody. And you got to worry about your health and your family's health, and then your inventory and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. So, I'm not angry at anybody. Okay, I understand that there's a lot of pain out there. And I guess like diamonds, Rapaport's some kind of a heat sink. It's like, that's the guy, here's the target. But even so, I would ask any buyers that are out there, anybody who's a friend of ours, anybody who believes in transparency, anybody who's just got a good heart and soul, please buy from the RapNet suppliers that are on there today. They deserve your support. They're working, they're standing with us strong as we provide pricing transparency, as we go down with prices. So I think it's most buyers' interest to know what's going on. We get the heat when we do this. No one's sending me flowers or rewards. But please, 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 the bottom and the top of my heart, I ask you, if you're a buyer out there, or when you do become a buyer out there, please buy from RapNet suppliers. Support the people that are standing with me. Social media campaigns, we're just starting something called Honest Prices, and we're going to be doing all kinds of great stuff. And you can go to Honest Price. I don't even know if the website's done yet, but hang out with us. Communicate. New Telegram accounts, Rapaport Group and Rapaport Group Discussion. And I'm going to be talking there pretty much every day, and my team will be, and we're going to put stuff up there, and we're going to explain things, and we'll have discussions about what we're doing, and people can ask questions there, and we'll try to answer them. We will throw people off if they're just, harassing, but it's an honest place to hang out and do stuff, and you're home now, you can do it, but we're going to create these Telegram accounts. Reach out. The Rapaport Group is here to help you. Our people are on the phones. They may be reaching out to you as well. And we're ready to work from home. That's the new reality, everybody. So, let's do it. Let's figure out ways to work from home. We have to understand also that coronavirus is going to have a long-term impact. I did a video. We now are starting something called Rapaport.com videos. I think that's going to be links to probably YouTube. I don't know exactly how we're setting it up, but I think there we'll be able to describe what those videos are. But there is a new one, I think, on the coronavirus going up there, as well as some other things about, how we see the market. And that webinars, I think we're going to do them the next week. I don't know if I can keep doing 2 every Tuesday. It's kind of tiring, but we will try to talk about what's happening in China. Maybe someone else will do it rather than me. But we want to keep the communications going, keep the flow going, keep the relationships going, and keep the communications going. Now, so finally, with the conclusion, I think I'm I'm over, and then I stop the questions, but I don't know if anybody's got any place to hurry off to. But during these difficult times, the most important thing is to stay safe, everybody. You have no idea how complicated it is. I have a son with me over here who is guarding the door, making sure everybody takes off their jackets, takes off their shoes when they come into the house, takes off their gloves, puts on other gloves. I mean, you really need to separate your house from the outside world. And like I said, 3,000, my phone said 3,000 people died in the United States who died. This isn't people got the virus. It's been doubling in Israel every 3 days. Now it's doubling every 4 days. And remember that families and employees come first. And that's the key. That's the whole thing. And money, we gain money, we lose money. No one's going to die because they have money problems. Okay. But people will die from the coronavirus. So health is more important than wealth. Chill it out. We're going with the prices, so what? Okay. The most important thing is your health. And I'm telling you, this silent killer, it's lurking. It's right around here. It's right outside me. In Israel, they got this special application that shows you who has coronavirus or who was with someone with coronavirus in your neighborhood. So you can actually get a map of your street with addresses. Scary. Now, the world's going digital, so let's all use our time to learn as much as we can about digital business. how to connect with customers. I think we're going to get someone to run a webinar on it. The coronavirus will pass, but the digital opportunities will become forever and ever more important. So what we're witnessing now is a fundamental shift in the world. I'm really sorry, and I got to say this, I mean, my normal instinct is say, oh, you guys you don't like me going out 7%, what are you, nuts? But no, they're feeling, I understand that they're upset, and I'm very sorry about it, I really am. I wish that I didn't have to go down with prices. During these difficult times, let's find ways to work together, and I mean that. And even people who hate me or have said terrible things, even so, let's find these, ways to work together. And I believe that in our industry, I don't think we're going to get washed up on the shore here. It'll be changing. Prices will be maybe a lot lower. I don't know. But ethical, transparent, competitive, and efficient markets, that's where we're going. And that's what's going to happen. It's particularly digitally. All right, everybody, I have concluded my 1 hour and 10-minute talk. I'm 10 minutes over. I hope that, I'm sure there's a lot of people that'll be nitpicking and you said this, but you did that. I tried to be as transparent as I can be. I think the big news here is that we are going to be publishing once a month. We are going to be distributing more information related to discounts. We are going to be setting a range that you can count on pretty much, unless there's something unusual. But be careful, because even in that range, the prices that we're going to be using to deal in the range, some of them might be based on opinions. So it's not perfect, my friends, but it'll be an acceptable range that you'll know. If you see something at 45 below, now I'll accept 45, 50 below, you're going to say, oh, he's definitely going to go down. And not he, but Rapaport Priceless indicators. So be aware of that. And then finally, we will think about establishing an advisory committee. Okay, questions. Joshua, there were some questions that were sent in.
Oh, you want to see on the Q&A, or you want to see the Q&A on the current
well, let's
session?
give some people some respect there, and let's mix them up a little bit. So you want to put up some questions that you think I might be able to answer? Oh, can I see the questions?
Yeah. Just click on the Q&A.
Where do I go to get that thing up? Let me just see. I'm going to do something with my screen over here. And I have Q&A, 49 questions. Okay, so let me put that up.
50 questions, yeah.
Due respect, sir. Okay. Do you take into account the rough? No, I don't take into account rough prices. Rough prices are terribly wrong, terribly evil, terribly non-profitable. And I don't know what's going on with credit, bribery for credit. I don't know. All I can say to you is that rough prices to me are not healthy. And I did make a call for the beers to drop rough prices. This is 2 months ago by 50% to leave profit in the industry. I don't know why people are buying rough, what they're doing with rough, but maybe I just don't understand things. I used to cleave, so I understand a little bit about rough, but the rough markets make no sense to me. Now, day by day, no, I'm not going to really decrease prices.
The price. Read the questions out so people know what they can't see it.
Oh, okay. Now, does not mean you decreases prices day by day. No, I don't. But I would look at the RapNet trade sheet, which is like the trade screen, which is the trade sheet. And there you can actually see what's going on up and down every hour. Okay. No, I'm not giving out the copies of the slides. I'm going to have enough problems with people trying to attack me based on just what I said. Steve took enough. I remember took enough. Okay. What if the trade doesn't want a changeable list, a list that can be changed? Are they not allowed? Yeah, trade can do whatever they want. I think that, you can come out with a standard list. Why do people use the Rapaport price list and not the RapNet list? Because it's a price which is high enough. Like I said, it's a numeric price. It's a benchmark price. People want benchmarks. Manipulates the market. I don't think the list manipulates the market. He says the industry doesn't want a list because it manipulates the market. People lower the price because they think it will lower the price. They think you would lower the price. Nah, I don't know about that. That makes a bigger effect than the real effect. I can go on, but I leave it to that. Thank you, Steve. I don't think people lower. I think people want to sell and they want the goods to move. And I think that is the most important thing as we go forward. Did you lower the price list immediately after you held the single? No, I didn't. The single stone auction closed the Wednesday after, the Tuesday after, and we don't do that. Plus, the single stone auctions got very little to do with the price list, since the price list is talking about Rapaport specification A3, and there aren't many of those goods. There could be some, but no. And not only that, we call people. If the price is going to be called, we said, do you want to keep your bid? So no, I think all of these arguments that we are After 42 years, we are, what's his name? I'm going to use my favorite little funny guy here, this Van der Linden, president of the International Diamond Manufacturers and Importers Association. Okay, Mr. President, the time has come to diffuse and diminish Rapaport's overwhelming and indeed conflict of control over our industry. No conflicts, baby. Show me the conflict. We'll remove it or show me the conflict. But no, we're not into the conflict business. We're into the business of getting paid for telling the truth. That's the business we're in. But if you just discovered conflicts now that we went down with prices, Mr. Van der Linden, come up with it. Tell me. But the idea that we close RapNet and then we go down with prices or something, and then we have the auction, talk to the people who buy at the auction. They love us because this gives them a way to make a livelihood in Israel. And, if we were screwing around, no one would work with us, but we don't screw around because it's not honest, okay? So no, we don't do that. And we also don't take bribes to change prices in the price list. And we also don't, I have a saying, if you can live your life, and it's not easy, where you can tell your wife and the tax authorities everything you do, you're not going to have problems sleeping at night, unless you're me, because you lower diamond prices. But the bottom line is, that's my story. So if you find anything that we're doing, you think it's questionable, ask, no problem. We're not conflicted. And I really resent the fact that a good friend of mine like this, Ronnie Van der Linden, Mr. President, would say after all the years that I've been around that I have a conflict of interest, because he's totally, what can I tell you? And then, something, I love him too. He's caught up, he's the president, everybody says we're going to hate Rapaport, so he's on the game. All right, you are right that there has been a considerable discount built up, which shows declining prices. Why did the price list not cover gradually over the last 4 months? Good point. We did try to go gradually, but one of the things that impacts the discount is liquidity. So what we have done, and here I think that you're right, we should have whacked it farther and faster, and that's why I'm so glad to introduce the 30 to 40% rule. But we let the market ride because the liquidity went down and down. Now we should have stopped it at 40. We should have, and we didn't. And now that the thing went bam, went down so sharp, obviously we had no choice, but I think you're right. We should be doing it now. We have to do it in a blanket hard stop, because if we went down every week, 2%, not going to. We'll start the cycle that I talked about earlier. Okay, that's from Untitled Jewelers New Delhi. With your example of transaction prices, you used a retail example with the Rodeo Drive customer. Are you suggesting that you were incorporating retail? Yes, we are. As a matter of fact, we just showed you the Blue Nile prices. And so one of the questions is, how do things move, retail or not? So yeah, we have people that are retailers and even consumers using the prices. Yeah, we incorporate every bit of information that is honest and accurate, that we can figure out how to filter out the bundling. We'll use anything. And so our eyes are open, our ears are open, everything we can see. With recession, buying price of precious metals come down to the cost of jewelry manufacturers, so you can adjust with that. But what happens when diamond prices, cost of rough prices don't come down? Disaster. Drastically. The Rapaports come down immediately, which brings pressure on sellers. Look, I think what you need to do is what I said before, sell and buy, sell and buy. In other words, the value of your inventory is replacement cost. I got a lot of emails, people didn't understand that. If you have an FVBS 2, you bought it for 10, you can replace it with 7. Sell it for 8. What's the problem? Make $1,000 bucks. And if you can't sell above a market price, whatever it is, 10, 7, what are you doing in the business? The whole game for you is to be able to sell something higher than the price in the market. That's the name of the game. So if you can do that, because you have good customers, it would be a bloody crime if you had a good customer that wanted to buy a diamond for $8,000 and it cost you 10, but you could replace it with 7. It'd be a crime if you didn't sell your $10,000 diamond for 8 and replace it with 7. And not only that, by replacing it with 7, you're keeping the market going. The 7 guy he sold, there's a little more confidence in the market. Things are moving. Like I'm saying, keep breathing, don't freeze, okay? So the source of diamonds isn't rough. It's right now, it's a joke. The source of diamonds is polished. Are there chances that the price level will decrease further? Yes, there are chances like that. And if we took a careful look at the price list that we're at right now, if we go to the 25 below, you might see be very selective them, because we're going to say, look, if it's more than 45 below, which is a hell of a big number, big discount, we're going to drop it. So if you see something at 47 below, 48 below, I don't think anything's at 50 below now after we drop it. Yes, we're going to mark to that kind of a range, and you can expect it. No surprises anymore. And that's how we're going to do it. Do you not accept that the Rapaport was the industry standard? Yes. And as much as you say it's just a guide, becomes the guide in prices, that's true. And on that basis, do you not accept that the industry is demanding to open the black box and nothing less? Yeah, I'm getting with this. So 30 to 40 below, 30 to 45 below now. My black box is very open. And can I tell you, as an expert, why I might say that a 3-carat or FVS2 meeting a certain structural requirement or percentage differential environment is a certain price? I can't necessarily make you an expert or teach you everything about it, but I'm willing to have a committee, an advisory committee that would understand that. And I'm happy to share and everything. And like I say, there's a rumor out there that, I may not live forever. Okay, so what's going to happen with the price list? And well, we have a team. How is the team going to do? So now the team has a guideline. They have a range to work with. So is the prices? No, the price is not based on the S&P only, and it's not based on the S&P at all. But of course, demand for diamonds, and not just demand for diamonds, your desire to sell a diamond is influenced by the S&P, no question, especially since the S&P has a wealth effect. And our viewing of the world is that the discounts got bigger because of that. Now you can argue with me, say, Mr. Rapaport, you're wrong, opinion's wrong, but that's what happens. It's not a direct effect, okay? Although I'll tell you, the fact that Signet's down to $6 now does scare the hell out of me. Who's going to buy those diamonds? Somebody tell me, okay? So, is that going to have an effect? Now, I'm not predicting very much. I'm saying to you, yes. It's certainly not a space for us to be sitting at 55 or 50 below, and then this is happening. That would totally blow us away. So I do look at it, but it's not setting it. Are there any, I don't know, I can't read it. Lots of countries are on the verge of lockdown. So what was the need to wrap down? Because we had to prepare the market to be able to buy, and we have to go down when prices go down. It's pretty simple. Prices go down, we go down. They're on lockdown, they're not trading, they're at home. Prices go down, we go down to the best of our ability, okay? And that's the way it is. What about GBBS? It's a great item. It's a wonderful stone. I don't know what size you're talking, but you should try to buy it and sell. The highest discounts in the RapNet website is based on the BGM conditions. So you're taking 10% best prices, maybe 7 in the row BGM and VS1 highs. How do you make how do you make your decision that way? Well, let's look at it. 40 below is pretty high. Now let's assume that BGM is what, 10% less, 5% less? Well, charge more for your BGM goods. So the discount for BGMs maybe goes to 30 below. And I would expect there to be a guy who has the 140. Okay. That's the story. What am I going to do with that? And by the way, it's not just BGM. My God, it's Fay Blues are still in there. So we're having a discussion about that. And I think that when you have a stone that is better than another stone, you tend to make more money. And that's one of the reasons our discounts may be so high. So if you're at 30 below, 25 below, I would see these goods traded 25 below if in fact the market was strong, okay? So they're always gonna find some nuance about a stone that's gonna give you a higher price. What if you're selling for cash? I don't mean green cash, I mean you're selling for a check right away. What's that price gonna be like? I'm sure it'll be, it'll be a bigger discount maybe, okay? But we're not looking at that. So I think that what you have to think about is, where is your stone sitting in terms of the quality range compared to this Rapaport specification A3? And should you be charging more for it because it's a special item? Now, I'm telling you, all the people I know in the industry, they know how to charge more. So if their stone has a better story, has a better capability, it's there. I will say to you that there is a discussion that some people have raised with me about faint blue, both internally and externally, and we may change the specification that we're going to use. But BGM is difficult to tell. I have a beautiful stone. It really pops up beautifully. It's worth more money than a stone that maybe came from, a different kind of rough cubes that has micro graining or something. There's always things about your stone that you're going to know that you'll communicate. I'm going to break for a second and talk to people who mailed me in or sent me in questions. Okay, if that's okay. Sorry, Dave. Now, I'm doing research on diamond price. I'm just knowing why your Rapaport price is only 0 to 10 brands. I would appreciate if you could elaborate more. We can't do other brands because it's hard enough. And the 10-carat brand is not that much goods either. And often we're extrapolating from the 5-carat prices and people trade the 5-carat prices. Will lowering the prices boost the sale once the pandemic is over? Yes. The industry needs a whiff of oxygen. Yes. I believe that you need to be realistic about prices if you want buyers to come to the table. So if you're going to sit here in a market which is not great, to put it mildly, and you're going to say, oh, keep the prices high, everybody, it's nonsense. No one's going to buy from you. So yeah, lower prices encourage buyers, which is why I went with my story that the value of your inventory is replacement cost. So yeah, we want buyers. We want liquidity. That's the most important thing. Maintaining the illusion that diamond prices are somehow still high is not at all important compared to getting buyers to enter the market. Lower prices at this stage are healthier for the industry in terms of their transparency. Okay. Lower prices are healthy. Now, it doesn't mean we will. I'm not your doctor. I'm not trying to make you healthy. I will quote what I see as best as I can. But it's up to the buyer. Now, people will drop the prices to sell. And then they'll say, Rapaport, don't tell anybody we dropped the prices. Give me a break. So I'm not deaf, dumb, and blind. Neither of the people who work for me. With no buyers at high prices, turnaround seems difficult. Fresh fish and salesmen entail business. If the diamond bought at a higher price and sold at a lower price, the same could be said. The seller does not. Exactly, Mr. Vimal, you're exactly on. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Just replace, sell and replace. Don't worry about the price. Keep the customer. Keep the customer. If the one thing you get out of this whole long schmoozeroonie from me today, and my God, it's an hour and 45 minutes, keep the customer. Don't worry about the prices. Okay. How long do you think it will take for our industry to make a comeback and why? I don't know. I am hopeful. I'm even prayerful. First thing is that I think China may come back in. I think they will start coming back in if and only if they do not have a relapse, a second wave. And this virus, baby, oh man, it's scary. It's really scary. So I don't know what happens. I don't know when we get out of our houses. I'm sitting here in my house. I don't know, a week or 5 days. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when I'm going to get out of my house. So I don't know. I can tell you when the industry. But I do think electronic trading is the way to go. And if we can get RapNet up to speed and we can get people to buy electronically and we can figure out how to move the goods or even not move the goods, we'll do depositories with warehouse receipts. We'll hold the diamond until afterwards. So I think we're going to encourage, we do everything we can to get trading going on RapNet, everything we can to get trading going anywhere, and everything we can to get liquidity back into the market. Stuart Doe. How can the list go then when we're not even open due to the crisis? Because guess what? You may not be open for a while. You can trade online. On several special appointments to show diamond rings, there were no inclination for me to lower the price on any stones I showed. Good. If you don't have to lower prices, don't lower them. If you can get a higher price, God bless you. But is the market getting a higher price? I don't think so. But if you can do it and then buy. Buy. There's lots of sellers today. Online, buy online. You don't know how? Well, most dealers agree that the price moved down slightly in the past few weeks. However, how would you respond to those who believe your change in price was premature? Okay, I don't think so, but it's my opinion. But again, look at what happened in the environment around you. People are out. Market's down. People are home. Hard to sell. There are still sellers out there. So I don't agree that the prices didn't drop. And that's my opinion. And I'm sorry about it, but I don't buy that. Prices didn't go down. That's like crazy. I shouldn't get crazy. It's not my opinion. Yeah, Wolf. Houston said that one of the reasons you lower the list is because it's your obligation to reflect the world, not the world economy, diamond prices in the world economy. However, in a 4-year span ranging from February 10th to February 10th, 2020, stock market is more than 45%. We also saw significant expansion in construction that we never saw this in your price list. Yeah, because diamonds didn't go up. Why didn't diamonds go up? Real estate went up, stock markets went up, everything went up. Why? Why do you think? Well, there's a lot of good reasons they didn't go up because the prices were too high to begin with, is one reason. Okay? Inventory went up. And then when they started to go up, there were all kinds of shenanigans going on. When I say shenanigans, I mean problems with liquidity. Banks saying, we're not going to lend any money to this industry because we don't trust you people. Oh, why don't you trust them? They're such nice people. I don't know. Well, I think that we have to run an honest industry and get rid of all these other problems. I gave a speech 2 years ago and I got thrown out of the Indian bush, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but we really need to build an industry that has liquidity. If we have liquidity and we're transparent about it, then it is possible that diamonds will in fact go up. But I think that one of the key things why I said the bear has to go down is because we need to get money. We need to make money. Everybody's kids are leaving the business, including mine. Why? Hard to make money. Why? Rough is too high. So, what does the Federal Reserve do when we have these problems? They flush cash into the markets. They push profitability. They make sure people have money. And that's what this industry needs. If rough came down, people would be able to make money. They made money, they'd advertise, they'd push, they'd buy everything. They'd play. Right now, we're sitting here in rigor mortis. We're stuck, okay? Who's making money in diamonds? How do you make money in diamonds? Okay. Why is it that the price has to change in order to maintain what you consider to be an appropriate average discount? Okay, the price has to change because it has to reflect the discounts. I mean, would you like to see a world with 70% discounts? Maybe if you're a seller, but if you're a buyer, would you trust such a list? So yeah, you got to change prices to reflect the reality, and the discounts have to remain in a normal range. And when you start seeing discounts over 50%, I'm losing hair, and I already lost my hair. I mean, it's no good. And now I'm going to 45 only for a short period of time. We have the coronavirus, but I'm talking about 30 to 40 with Fay Blues. So little discussions are going to have to take place about that when eventually I put together some committee. Now, why isn't it more transparent to just report on what the discounts are and let the price fluctuate wherever it's going to be? A lot of good people who ask that point because the buyers don't look at this discount thing. And in a way, I am listening to this because I'm publishing a discounted list, the list that shows the discounts, every week instead of the price list. And the price is only once a month. And there's a lot of good reasons for that too. So, in fact, I'm buying into this, but not completely. If that means the discount is plus 10% or minus, so be it. Well, you're a buyer. You want to take a look at the Rapaport prices and say, okay, how much below can I get? And you don't want it to be one day 10 above and 50 below. So there is that consistency. And by the way, that's why people use it. Anybody could be using, you go on RapNet, you can see that trade screen, which is essentially the trade sheet. You can see it. Why don't they use that? Now, a lot of dealers do use RapNet prices, but a lot of people in the world use the price list because it's a high price. They can discount. There's a buffer for profit, and there's a lot of reasons that people use these numeric prices, keep pointing these benchmark prices rather than the actual discount prices that you can get. What makes you the arbiter of what appropriate discount should be? It's my opinion. It's our price list. I don't know, why do people trust me? Maybe Ronnie Van Linden could have his own price list. We'll call it the Ronnie list. And he can put it out there and people can use it. That's fine. I think that's great. Because anybody that takes the heat off me, my wife will appreciate that, she'll be very happy. So, I'm game. But how many people have the inclination to go down 10% and get into boycott mode? Particularly if they're the president or something. So it's a problem. Now, I'm not going to confuse anybody or cancel anybody, but I'm all for the Ronnie list, okay? And if, people can use what they want. And that's the idea of a fair market. People can use what they want. If people like my opinion, then it's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. It doesn't mean I'm the only person that knows anything. It means that I have followers, okay? All right, now, what makes you the arbiter? The arbiter, the people use it. Okay, what makes a leader is that he has followers. Okay, Chick, that's a great name. The obvious question is when there has been very little or no trading due to the pandemic, the prices that's causing most of the stress, emotion, and not based on ability to have certain information, not transaction prices, asking prices. So that's why even if there's no transactions, we're still going to publish a list. And I did tell you, a lot of transactions are just bundled into all kinds of. I sold it to the consumer. I sold it on memo. I sold it in 30 days credit. I bought it for cash. I did this. I did that. This. I sold it in I don't know, Rodeo Drive. I sold it in Moscow in $10 million deal. Okay. The stone itself had a black imperfection in the middle because it was a bad SI. The stories are endless. So I like transaction prices when I can see them, and we will support transaction prices. Some kind of a RapX market that we're doing, but it has to be highly standardized goods and highly standardized trading conditions. Now you have created an issue for your publication, apart from canceling the guide for a few weeks. What is your plan of action regarding credibility as a spokesperson for the wider good of the industry? The vultures are circling, and you better have a strong and accurate response. Well, today is my response, and what we're doing is we're trying to get to the point where We don't have this feedback, this noise problem with the price sheets, and we're doing once a week. And I basically outlined for you what we're doing, and we are making a change in 42 years. We're not doing it weekly. We're pushing out transactions price information. We're setting a range of prices, sort of like the Federal Reserve Bank does for things, and say, oh, this is the range that we expect. And we're going to point to a group of people that will then wave their fingers. Mr. Rapaport, it's 46 below, go down. Mr. Rapaport, it's 28 below, go up. And that's something that we're going to do. So I think that we will be able to, we're not so much reacting. We're doing what we think is right. And that's the name of the game at Rapaport. We can't not change. We can't be ignorant or ignoring people's pain. And we have to think deeply into it and say, well, what are we going to do? And how can we do it fairer and better and more transparent? And this is what we're doing now. So, I imagine that whatever happens out there will continue to happen. But if RapNet provides the lifeline to buyers, which it's designed to do, spend millions of dollars, building that, then people will come to us and they'll transact. I do hope that the people who are so upset today will get less upset. But I respect them for saying we want to be independent. We hate this guy Rapaport. We want to do our own thing. That's fine, and that's okay. I think it's great. And if they're transparent, it'll just back us up. It'll create a bigger market. So there's enough room for everybody if you're doing stuff with, transparent competition. Lots of room. Okay. Yeah. Well, guy says I'm right. Thank you very much. Paulo, we love you. Sile. So basically, where do traders stand today? And by reducing the price so drastically, aren't you just giving a reason for people to go bust as an easy way out? Well, I don't know. We're in a pretty tough situation now. I can't control the prices based on whether or not people are going to go bust. I've lived through terrible situations. I don't know what's going to happen. And where do traders stand today? Traders have to stand on having customers. And that's the name of the game. If you don't have customers, I think you're screwed. If you have customers, even if you were to lose money in your inventory, you'll make it up if you continue trading. So again, keep breathing. Now, I don't know if the strategy of buying and selling at lower prices, take any strategy you want. But if I was out there, I'd say I'm going to lose whatever, 7% is nothing. But maybe it creates a cycle of everybody not having confidence. Trust me, 7% is very little compared to what's going on out here. But you lose 7%, and then you sell for 3% profit, 3 sales, and you're back in the game. So I'm not this convinced. Now, people will go bankrupt, I'm afraid, because they're freezing and because they don't have money and because there's been this shock and the game is playing the game with all kinds of, I don't know what they're doing with rough. I don't know what they're doing with credit, playing the game. See, now I have to be very careful to do it in a way it doesn't get any down the keyboard. All right. So the name of the game here is, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not our job to stop people from going bankrupt. Our job is to quote prices. Okay. So now Rapaport will publish the list monthly. Yes. The monthly will be published, but there's going to be a weekly publication called the RapNet Trade Sheet, which will not be based on any Rapaport opinion. It'll reflect what's going on RapNet. Good morning to everyone. Do you think implementing the blockchain technology will communicate better the impartiality and transparency of your price evaluation prices? Possibly, but everyone thinks the blockchain is God. The blockchain is just an accounting system, garbage in, garbage out. So yeah, the blockchain does have the ability to communicate maybe more honestly than an accountant. And it has the ability to track things. So I like the blockchain. I think it's wonderful, but I don't think it's going to stop. It's going to solve all the problems of, I don't know, meringue diamonds or people stealing stuff or, all kinds of cycles. Bottom line is that it's good and it's maybe even a necessary condition with the technology, but it isn't a complete condition. It doesn't solve the problem. Deal, sir, when I learned prices decided based on consumer buyer appetite, but why not add the manufacturer's actual manufacturing cost? I mean, manufacturer adds his cost when he decides what price to sell, but the diamond business isn't the business when you I bought rough, I cut it, I make money. It doesn't work that way. Polished prices are polished prices, and they are not necessarily guaranteeing any profit to anyone who manufactures, not diamonds, not jewelry, not gold. You really have to add value somehow. Good design, good customers, good programs, whatever you have. So there is no no business, certainly not the diamond business, where if you buy something and manufacture it, you're going to have an automatic price. Now you can set your price that way. You can say, it cost me 10, I'm going to sell it for 20. And if someone buys it, then you're good. But the actual market price is not going to be based on manufacturing. Certainly not today with what I would consider to be crazy rough prices. And I'm not, this isn't about rough. I can give a whole talk about rough, but this isn't the place. Say actual buyer appetite is price X, and for say a type most diamond that manufacturer's cost is X plus 1 or X minus 1. This can help us make more reasonable price value. Maybe I am wrong with the manufacturer's perspective. Yeah, I like the manufacturer's perspective, and I think the manufacturer's perspective is how much he can buy and sell at what he's doing. So if he buys at X and he can only sell at X plus 1, X minus 1, he's going out of business. So, manufacturer's perspective is taken into asking prices because they set the asking prices. Okay. Price evaluation process. We talked about that here. We said, look, we have experts. We looked at RapNet. We look at other things. We look at everything. And then we try to establish what is a reasonable asking price. And then we think about what is a reasonable benchmark price. Above asking price, we have a price that's an umbrella. Okay. Sir, can we constant the diamond price by clarity of weight? No, we can't keep constant prices because the world is moving and breathing and changing. Can you be more transparent on how do you derive and ask? That's good. Well, in one aspect of asking prices, you can take a look at RapNet. Okay. Other asking prices, you can actually look and see what people are asking. Take a look what Blue Nile is asking. Okay. Our asking prices then take into consideration everything we see. So we may actually talk to someone and see what sold, what didn't. We may look and see how many diamonds have increased or decreased in the availability in the market. We might look at other trading networks. There's endless amounts of things that we would use to derive a Rapaport asking price level, which is going to clear all markets. So it's not that simple. He made it complicated because he didn't want you to know. That's not true. But, it's not an easy thing to do in the sense that there's so much going on around the world, and then the world is changing. It's kind of, one guy said to me, it's one of Savil's jokes, there was this guy who was doing heart transplants, and I think his name was Bernard in South Africa. And he had a car, and he took the car in because he needed to change the motor, the engine. And so the engine guy says to him, I'm only going to get paid $5,000, and you change your heart and you get $500,000. He says, it's not fair. So the heart surgeon said to the guy, try it with the engine running. And that's sort of where we're sitting here, is why a lot of expertise is. We're in a market which is constantly changing. Lots of stuff going on. What time is it now? I don't want to cut people short. I'll give a few more minutes. You said there would be a guideline for the prices. What will it include? It's the 30 to 40%. Okay? So that's a guideline. Now, we're going to have to go to 45 for some period as we see the coronavirus affecting the markets. So we'll increase the amount of ranges that we would have. And so that's a guideline. Now, again, if we decide to change things so that we're doing no faint blues or something, we'll think about it. It might change based on the Rapaport specification changing. There is no point to talking. That's nice. Okay, so go away. What can I tell you? If China buyers want to buy goods, they can buy at more discounts. That's right. Why wait for RapNet to drop prices? Why kill the center of the business for the rest of the world? Look, these guys can try to get lower discounts, but they're going to say, oh, the Rapaport price is going to go down at some stage. And they will. They will. And they don't want to get caught with their pants down. Now, if Chinese buyers start buying at really low prices and the Rapaport price sheet is used in China, which it is, then the consumers are going to say, well, are you lying to me? There's no credibility in this price sheet. There's no price sheet, which is why I put in the whole discussion about whether or not you need it. You should have a price sheet. Some people say, I don't want any price lists. I don't like trading networks. I want to go back and do things the way my granddaddy did. Good luck. That's okay. But you can do that. It's a free world. But we need to have a price list that doesn't move with the market. Comment rather than a question. Carol Marshall. I am both an independent designer jeweler and head of Asia for Gem 8. Gem 8 is an excellent laboratory. For 2 years now, I've been speaking about the arrogance of our trade and the need to relate to the new generation of clients with knowledge. That includes being honest and knowing enough to be honest. As a jeweler, I respond to my clients' needs. I cannot believe that anyone out there would not expect their clients to assume and expect lower prices. I expect lower prices from my suppliers, and if I don't get them, I won't buy. Rapaport must reflect the market. Diamonds are a commodity. Commodities, all shares and stocks are falling out of bed. Please always maintain transparency. Please never bow to the worst characteristics expected of our trade. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Pratt. I'm a teeny voice, but I think my voice counts. Listen, I love you. I thank you. Because I'll tell you, we're getting pressure here, but we're strong. And I believe in the truth, and I so do you. So thank you very much for being so supportive. And I just hope there's lots of guys like you. And when you do buy, you go to RapNet, or you talk to us, and you tell your friends, and maybe participate in our social media. But you know, I think that we just have to be honest and straight and support ethical, transparent, competitive, efficient markets. I think we've answered all the questions, Joshua, have we?
No, there are more, but I think that we should end it now. I
All
think
right,
there are more.
Joshua as well. Guys, if you've got questions, please send them in. Now, listen, I do want to say this. A lot of people send me emails to prices at diamonds.net, and I feel bad that I wasn't able to answer all of them. I did think that we did go through a lot of those issues, but if we haven't, I'm going to ask Avital, my great executive assistant, to go through them and see what we haven't answered. We're not hiding here at Rapaport. So, you know, if we can, if there's any questions we haven't answered, we should look for them, and we should look for things. And look, we make mistakes, so we look for our mistakes. I would encourage people to point out our mistakes, and I try to relate to them. It's like people saying now we want more transparency, and we put out these, you know, now we want to put out all the, we want to force out really in a more powerful way all the discounts. So, you know, I'm game for this. I'm not on an ego trip here. We're happy to fix up and correct things when we need to. Okay. All right. So everybody, listen. Thank you all very much for participating. I just got to emphasize, I really feel bad for the way the market is now. And I'm sorry that I'm part of people's unhappiness. And I pray that prices will in fact start to go up, things will change, and we'll be able to move forward. And we will, but we at Rapaport are not sleeping. We launched a new version of RapNet yesterday. We're moving forward, and we're going to go electronic, and we're going to go digital, and we're going to beat this virus. And we're going to do it by keeping an industry intact and making sure that RapNet is a lifeline to buyers. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.